Hey guys, I'm gonna have another stream on the thing that I streamed yesterday. Um, so this is a project where I'm making this kind of UI that has this kind of drag feature. This is coded in JavaScript and R, and it's pretty much vibe coded by Claude. So today I want to focus on maybe to some extent maybe the focus is motivated by figuring out the feasibility of this thing for the purposes of different for having like very big scale variation in the UI. So, and I want like the scale variation in both the x-axis and the y-axis. So in x-axis I want this to show like a very big like variation in terms of years. So maybe there's like this in x-axis this variation in like there are these blocks here. So let's say like or these grids, like 3 grids in the horizontal axis. So let's say that each of these represents like one time scale. So if this first one is like a 10-year time scale, and then we have like a 100-year time scale, and then we have like a 1,000-year time scale. And the y-axis you could think like in terms of like probabilities, you could have like a something like 1 in 10,000 or like 1 in 100,000 to 1 in 10,000 scale, and then you have like 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 1,000 and 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 100 and maybe 1 in 100 to 1 in 10 kind of scales. And of course it gets like one thing that I wonder about the feasibility of this is it might get hard to like signal these threshold changes. So as you're here, you're kind of like moving at kind of like different speed on the scale as opposed to like when you go here, you're like it's a very very different kind of scale. So yeah, it gets kind of this can get kind of like tricky. So yeah, I'm gonna try out if this is like could there be like some kind of visual things to kind of like get over these problems and make this kind of like easier to understand. Yeah, there's also Also, like what I want to do is I want to change, as I was talking about, like those 1 in 10,000 and stuff like that. Right now we have this probabilistic scale here, so I think it's more understandable to speak in terms of these ratios. Um, so I'm gonna have that in the same command. So I'm gonna start writing this. I wonder if I should have maybe first like define that x-axis time scale. And there's also like choices here, like whether I want this to be logarithmic or not. And yeah, I'm still not sure about it. I think like in the end, I will want to have some kind of user could make like a selection if they want if they want to use like logarithmic or a linear timescale. I think the logarithmic would be easy in a sense that then it's kind of like continuous change, and yeah, it's used quite a bit, but I still think that like yeah, I have like hard times usually like kind of like internalizing logarithmic scales. Yeah, I would suppose that it's so what's okay. Mm, um, um, it could be like 100 each. I was talking about in the last stream that it handles like it handles like at least like if you go up to like 1,000 observations, it handles that pretty well. And yeah, we could also have like maybe I'm not gonna like ask this right away, but just like make a note that we could have a linear time scale under this. Yeah, I wonder, I should maybe like first ask this one, or yeah, not gonna do that. I'm gonna just y-axis. Like a lowest probability. Like where do we start? Like if we have like 4 segments, it's like 100,000, 10,000. Oh, yeah, it could be. Yeah, we can add like 1 in 100,000 here. And I think like in the actual final okay. Yeah, this is quite a big one. Let's gonna put like high effort. I'm not sure like what's the impact here, but yeah, let's see. And then I'm thinking like that, because there are these kind of like threshold points where the scale changes, that then it should signify like what's the, this could be like some kind of anchor points, in a sense that if I change things in here, like here, it wouldn't change the stuff that's to the left of the anchor point. On the other hand, like if you change the anchor point, yeah, this might not work, like because you often you want to change the anchor point to something else. That's like the most interesting thing to change. I wonder if it would be easy to somehow change so that when you're in the vicinity of this kind of threshold, then it would behave differently on the either side of the threshold. I don't know. Also, I'm wondering if it would be easy to if it would be easy to create some kind of confidence interval thing here, because it's kind of like that when the user is playing with this, they're thinking that they might be kind of like thinking that this is kind of like the something like the median or the weighted average of their estimate that they are showing here. So would it be possible to I think in some questionnaires they've asked about like what are a little bit like related to this like confidence intervals. So could I like bring that here somehow? Like could I have another line here? We could have like lines going below this that would then like signify confidence intervals. But I think that might get super tricky with like how this is related to this hazard rate. Like if you change, or if you're gonna like if you had the confidence interval here and then you make a change to the what would you call it, like a central estimate, will it move the confidence intervals as well, and how much would it move them? So yeah, that's a bit tricky. And I also wonder, like, for many of the users, that would just like add quite a lot of complexity without maybe, I don't know, being so beneficial. Okay, let's see what's down here. Kind of like super interested about what's it gonna look like. Yeah, this looks pretty much it's like year 0 to year 10 here. Year 10 to year 110, and then year 110 to year so we didn't get to year, wait a minute, we didn't get to year 10,000. Well, okay, we actually didn't ask about, we only asked for the next 1,000 years. So, okay, and then we have hazard here. Oh yeah, the survival, it has to, yeah, well, it has a different scale anyway. Ooh, that's like a super weird. I think this might like behave. I was talking earlier about like there should be like a bit weird behavior in the at the threshold, and this is kind of like showing some pretty weird behavior. It's also like when you go across this x-axis, and it might be, I was thinking it might be yeah, here's the, you go here, then you move. It's actually, I don't know, it might be like that this x-axis behavior is, yeah, there might not be anything too weird going on in there. But if you, there's definitely something weird going on if you, and that's kind of like, I think this kind of like behavior at the threshold kind of like indicates to the user that it kind of like shows the threshold better, but it seems kind of weird that it's more, or it's just like because like I was thinking like which one is more responsive, and should either of these be more responsive? Just like it's so tricky. Tricky to so let's think about some like actual use case. Yeah, it might be that we are I wonder if the survival should also have a different scale, or would it be just better if it's, if that's kind of like the one thing that's a little bit anchored. So this is where we have like a year 10. Survival is like right now the survival until year 10 is like 75%. And if we start going down here, let's think. So to 100, like where would be the maxed? Also, I wonder if there was like a nice way to. Of course, I can. Let's see how this behaves. Like if I'm gonna change the survival rates. Like what if I only was controlling, let's say like I was only controlling like so if you go to like 100 years, the survival should be like in actuality it should be quite high, like it should be it's probably like over 90%, like that. Oh no, I would go opposite direction here. Oh, so it seems like I don't know. It's quite difficult to use this. Yeah, I just wonder if it's too difficult. Just thinking like, what if you were only controlling what if you were only controlling the some kind of anchor points, like here, I would have a like one anchor in here for the survival. Like here, if I push this down, it would also like push down this. I'm just thinking like, is this just like too complex to use? Can it be made easier to use? Like one thing that's maybe not so useful here is this kind of like even if this makes this kind of fine tuning very easy, it might not be needed. Just thinking like because with this kind of fine-tuning possibilities, it's more often you become like annoyed about all these little little kind of like blips that you create. It's kind of like this kind of little curve here, right? And it's so easy to make that. So yeah, now I'm thinking like if there was this like draggable point here at the threshold, then you assign a survival probability. Then you could change the shape of this line. Like could there be another control for the for kind of like the curvature of the line? um, mm, again, this is gonna be another like of those challenges. Like, is it gonna understand anything about this? Like, again, like so far, I've been quite impressed with. Um, um, let's see. Yeah, there's this is more. Uh, More like inconvenience than what the benefit is. Like, I think for some other, maybe for some other type of work, this works better. And I also wonder, like, if there are some, if there are like some smoothing these like track dynamic values that I could have used that would result in something better. um, yeah, I'm not sure.
I sent it with I.
Yeah, this might take a while. And yeah, what I essentially want is that, yeah, there's this, and if there are these 2 points, then how, if you select these two, or actually over here, uh, if you have like these 2 points at like year 10 and year 100, and um, then what's gonna be, and then you can move these around, and you can move this around. um, You also have like basically year 1 here. Like how would they change? And yeah, it could be a little bit tricky with like say that you have like a linear progression here, but because you have this kind of like a threshold change, it doesn't look linear here. So that's yeah, that's a tricky one. Okay. Again, I'm like super interested to see what it has come up with. Yeah, this is this is pretty much exactly what I was thinking about. Uh, yes. Wow. Um, I don't know if this. I don't know if it works now with. Mm, yeah, I don't think it works. Oh, actually, yeah, it doesn't work. Like there should be like a discontinuity here, and also. Uh, um, yeah, this. I just like let's play around a little bit. Like this hazard should be higher. This yearly hazard here, or this should be increasing. And then can I make it have a shape that like it increases in the um like it's limited to this shape that it's if the endpoint is I think there might be a limitation here, like the I wonder if this could be done in another manner. Like, could there be what if there was like one draggable point between between these because I'm thinking it might well be that, like, for example, in because if you that like this existential hazard, it could be higher in like year 2050 than it is in year 2036. And then it could, like, for example, if you think that like 2050 is like the most dangerous year, and then it starts going down. I'm gonna write it here. Ooh, or could it be that I'm just like wondering, like, what if you could move this point here and then if you could like both move it and turn it. Huh. So where the dial is trackable, Um, mm, okay. Let's make yeah, I think you can kind of like see if you put this, or can you see the? Mm, I'm kind of like thinking like should this like show differently on the survival rate? I'm not really sure if the uh, yeah, I'm not really sure yet like how do these like because we have these multiplications of scales, and I kind of feel that, well, okay, here the behavior looks okay, like this change, there's like this clear like inflection point, but does it have to just do with like this change? Let's try to put this. Yeah, I think that works. I don't know. And then there's another one here. So at least to some extent all of this works, but it just might have to do with like the timescale thing works, but I'm not sure about the. Yeah, you can just explain it with like the timescale, but I'm not sure about this. This hazard rate. Okay, let's see the new one. So I can move this. There's like 2 dots here now. Okay, there's one to control the slope. Oh yeah, because it's yeah, this looks pretty cool. And I think it's just that this slope, I don't know if you can see, but there's like a very like thin gray line going between there, but I think it's just easy to mistake this being just another like point there. So I think what I'm gonna ask for is to change it. It just should be like a lever or something like that. Yeah, but it looks cool. And this is kind of like there are these like threshold values, and then there's kind of like inflection point between them. Yeah, this could work pretty well. Yeah. Orange handle. If you instead want the rotation control tension curvature, I'm not really sure what that means, tension and curvature, because I kind of like feel that. Well, okay. There's one thing here that I'm not sure if I like. Like here, if I move this up, then like this here in the left, if I move this up in the left of the dial, it goes down. I'm just like wondering, is that like how I want it to be? Hmm. It's like something like that. Oh yeah, I also let's say that if it's possible. Well, it gets a little bit tricky, like if because I want to have these same kind of controls for the survival as well. But I think that then it's gonna create this kind of contradiction. Or I'm not sure, like if I move this down, it might move this one up as a response, but I think the other response would be to change this slope here, or like where this point here is. So that's kind of like a choice, and it should have like some kind of parameters on what choice to make, basically. And the same goes that if I have like same kind of control for this curvature here, like then it just has to, yeah, it has to make like same kind of choice. And it can also like affect these ones here, like it could lead to like affecting the ones. Well, actually, if I limit it so that yeah, let's see. Yeah, and then like, yeah, this seems kind of like better. I kind of get the feeling that are these x-axis values, is there like a logarithmic scale going on? Because well, I don't know. Maybe if this is kind of like a halfway point. Because it's like if it's kind of like a linear scale between the years, then this, if there's like a equal area between like in the like between this slope curve and like the hazard curve, that's kind of like the old values, kind of like the equal area between this new value curve and the old value curve, then the okay, maybe I'm wrong with my math. I don't know. Yeah, but it's okay. Let's just ask it to make Um, yeah, it's a kind of like interesting question, like which um, which ones are affected the most, how to like communicate somehow like so that it would keep it looking like similar. uh, mm, yeah, this is pretty restrictive now, like also if I move this one here and I have that anchor point there, um, because I would want the anchor point to move this, or this dial point to move in response, but now it's just like now it's pretty much just like another, like even more important kind of like threshold points. I wonder if I should have this should I have these slope dials in the, should I have the slope dials like this slope control at the threshold point instead? So like here, let's think about like if this is like a 10-year point, then I can control like how it gets there. And then I'm not sure if do I actually need those. Uh, let's make that change first actually. Controls. Mm, yeah, that's just like simple. Because I kind of feel like the most control should be at those threshold points. So you like, I wonder if it kind of like then makes it so that you don't have to focus on this dial, if this was kind of like the dial point. Uh, oops. I could also have like, I don't know, I could have the slopes at like both the um, both the threshold points and these like middle points. Yeah, like this seems so weird. Yeah, I wonder would it be enough to just have those? Like if you didn't have the center point and you had these two like slope controls. Or actually I'm thinking like could you have two slope controls like if you had like a slope control for like the upcoming slope and then the like outgoing slope, like would that work? Yeah, this looks pretty cool. But again, like this issue here that if I want to change this, I have to like do I have like one control too much in here, or should this be like optional? Well, I'm not sure. Maybe it's not too much. If I change this, it kind of like overrides this slope control, I feel. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm just like I'm thinking about that. Like if I had two slope controls here. Would it make this better? Well, here you basically like have only like one. What if I move this one here? And this doesn't really control anything. Can I like have this to be like this even? Also, there's still the issue that this it's still like when you go through this it's like here it's moving through these Y scales, so it should like take that into account. Like it should look like there's a change here. Like right now it's kind of like difficult to make out that it's that there's this yeah, there's these changings in the scale. So let's make like 2 checkboxes now. Oh yeah, makes the yeah. Again, I think it's pretty ambitious change, and I kind of like wouldn't be surprised if this is somehow not doable. Yeah, we'll see. I should maybe at the same time I should write something about scale changes. Yeah, it gets kind of tricky, because if I want this to kind of like control the underlying, like, let's say that there's this here, so is it kind of or it could also be just, I don't know, it's like super hard. Okay, let's remove this first, see how this works. Yeah, I can make like this kind of shape here. Yeah, this could be like enough. Okay, now let's split. Yeah, it works. Yeah, I think this splitting is better. Like here, I kind of want it. Yeah, I can make like this kind of. It is quite. I kind of want it to. I kind of like want to. If I want to have this kind of. Let's say that there's like a. In 2050 is kind of like the highest. Let me move this down. Move it up a bit. And then it goes down here like this. And I think these are pretty. I think you can make pretty adequate progression here. Yeah, there are these. um, yeah, yeah. Now it gets tricky with. Maybe I'm thinking like, could I have like a linear scale if this was just like, what if this was like tall enough and I gonna like apply that. Um, yeah, let's just make a checkpoint. No. Because there's um, what's again like the hmm, hmm. Yeah, maybe this is just like the issue is gonna be that it's not really gonna work for. I'm gonna try something else. mm, uh, um, something like that. Yeah, I don't know if I'm yeah, I don't know if I'm actually gonna use this. I think this previous command, it's just gonna so easily go wrong if you think about this, that like, well, there's like maybe like you could have like one in like 100 times like greater or smaller hazard could be quite well like showed. But to have bigger than that, it's tricky. So I'm just kind of like then wondering, like, is it enough to have like 100 times difference? But I think it's not, because if you think about extinction probabilities and you go into a very far future, there's gonna be, we might hit some kind of like period where it's like a very low probability of anything happening. Yeah, it's taking quite a long. I thought this would be quite an easy command, but maybe not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this for the X scale as well, but then I just, is there gonna be too much color if there's gonna be like color going like both sideways and hmm. I could also like, I'm wondering like instead of different colors, I could be using like could I be using okay. Um, so it's not really working, I think. So why is this? It's also like this color is making it hard. Okay, it is working, but it's just like the colors are on top of each other. So I think they might be like this green color, and then it's like green bars here, and then there's the yellow color, but it's kind of like under the green color, and here it's kind of like on top of the red color, and it's kind of like making a little bit orange, and here the orange is in top of this red color. But it could be a start. Just like playing around like how extreme of a slope could you make with this. Maybe this is the most extreme. I think that's quite like that's a good amount of control already. Yeah, I have to do something about this. Um, so how would I manage these colors? Um, mm, so maybe um, maybe have them as kind of like rectangles that are empty on the inside. Mm.